Elimination on the line. I'm ready to burn the midnight oil and stay up all night long in Mumbai. I'm Toby One here with Kyle, and we will give you all the energy that you require to get through this best of three, which I'm hoping is going the distance. It's going for speed, Kyle. Because we have a late game hero in Keen. They picked the Spectre. They've got their late game in their one position.
Indeed they do. This is a combo LGD and a bunch of other Chinese teams used to utilize in the past, like think in 2016 era, Quap Spectre. Traditionally, you need a high damage offlaner and some high damage supports to make it work. But in this game, Keen's gonna have to play with a bit of a slower pace than they might be used to. But when they hit the mid game, they've got 4 different heroes that have methods of abusing map control. You got Underlord with the global TP, Quap can blink around the map, Nyx is invis, and Spectre of course can just press that horn and get on top of the enemy. So you might not beat TNC in engagements, but you can ensure that you always take them when it's favorable for you.
You know what? You make the late game sound absolutely wonderful for Keen. While Gabby's music makes right now sound absolutely wonderful. Break it down. TNC. Break them down. We've got DK appearing for the second time today. The Lifestealer pickup as well. It feels like there is just never-ending sustain from TNC.
Indeed, but they will have potential damage issues later into the game. You've got a ton of damage reduction thanks to the Spectre and the Underlord combo. However, if TNC get ahead, you look at all that tower push they can output, it's very possible that they just spike in the mid game, they grab all those cheap accelerating items and just run straight for Keen.
The contest for the runes was all underway. Gabby trying to sneak the one on the bottom as Old Chicken was able to grab up on top. This will actually mean TNC only get 1 of the 4 bounty runes at the 0-minute mark. A small economical advantage.
Yep. And bottom lane, Lifestealer is a counter to Underlord, but if it's a 2-on-2 laning matchup, it's relatively even in the sense that Lifestealer used to be 2-on-1 all the time, right? So Lifestealer could just zone by himself, but nerfs to Feast, open wounds, you can just outlast it now. Underlord's one of the few heroes remaining in Dota, especially after the change to Kunkka, that has a plus damage ability that also functions on denies. It's one of the main reasons I also think Bloodseeker is viable at the moment.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him. Teams haven't cottoned on to that one just yet. But as always, Kyle, you're one step ahead of the game. Like they're battling for the sentry wards up on top. It's that one sentry ward from Radiance side that actually blocked up the camp and allowed Tims to get the D ward out as well. And this allows this 3-position Razor, which once again, we're also seeing the battle up against a Spectre who doesn't have an easy escape. Like Queen of Pain was meant to be picked up to go up against this Razor to break that static link, but instead, she's battling up against a Dragon Knight. That cannot be a fun matchup. Definitely
not. I think the panel already mentioned it. It's part of the dangers of opening with this Quap because, yeah, sure, it denies the Razor his lane, but you really just don't care. As we saw earlier today, it's perfectly fine to just throw that Razor on the offlane roll. He buys the same items. And you brought up, oh, what if they just make the Quap offlane? Well, it doesn't work the same way. Yeah. Because Razor's itemization is so much simpler, whereas Quap is more of a snowballer. You don't want a Quap to be equal in net worth to a Razor as the 3. It just feels bad.
It also felt like in the previous game there was a better delivery system. Like it wasn't any DHL, but it was a tiny, like throwing that Razor forward and really getting him in the midst of the fight. And like TNC are looking for a double initiation system. Tims needs to get that Blink Dagger, not just for the team fight, but we have a Lifestealer on the field. Like we're looking at Lifestealer bombs either to initiate or to sustain. So depending on the tempo the TNC wants to play. Like, do you ever forever just sit there waiting and say, hey, please come to me?
Perhaps. I think that's actually how Keen will be looking to play this. They're kind of forced to play this. It's more of a counter-initiation game. You take team fights around choke points primarily. And I just want to point out bottom lane. It's as expected. You can see Underlord is laning with an average of like 80. Where the aura affects Lifestealer, so he's only got 60. A 20 damage disparity between melee heroes is insane. So as long as the Nyx can continue chasing Jakiro, this is a really good laning stage setup so far for Keen.
And actually, I was going to comment on how wonderful it was that Armel found a regeneration rune in top river. Then he walked straight back down the river and got hit by Yi and just lost it straight out. So now he's sitting there with not a hell of a lot of life left to work with. Like everyone's kind of having their own little battles. So AU is having his battle with Kaka, trying to contest him on the pull. Top lane, this may actually be our first blood with the paralyzing cast bouncing through. So level 1 Maledicte on Tims, and Nyx Assassin. Dark actually cuts the tree, opening up a path for Nyx Assassin to slip through the rear and get his regeneration. Not certain he's going to find the opportunity he's looking for. Tims is still hanging around to protect Coocoo. The old bodyguard Earthshaker offlane duel.
Yeah, this is the danger of running Razor offlane, though.
Oh, boy. Well, that regeneration rune, he probably wishes it went through the whole way up on top lane and on bottom lane. Both the offlaners are in a hell of a lot of trouble. The Razor is dropping down low. Same thing for the Underlord, but that is an Underlord. It is taking a lot to get through him.
I want to check, if you check out Yi's skill builds in that mid lane Quap, he did the exact same thing on Puck. Who needs points in Blink? Just go full damage, much like he skipped phase shift earlier. And if you get that first kill, now you can just start lane domination.
It's a crazy thing to think against DK, because normally it's DK who's the unkillable one, the Dragon Blood with the armor as well as the health regen, but the armor's not going to help you against the magical damage, and the health regen doesn't help you against burst damage.
Indeed. The danger of Razor top, by the way, is that when you don't have a traditional offlaner, you can't do what Keen just did, where you get Underlord a secure position. He was about 20 CS, level 3. You can just abandon bottom now. He'll be fine. You have to keep Shaker top with Razor versus allowing him to perhaps rotate bottom and kill that Underlord, and you're still going to be losing the safe lane, whereas bottom, Old 11, you're just fine with this because you were given that early head start. Now your support's free to rotate.
What an efficient rune to actually bottle up as well. Queen of Pain with the Arcane rune, already with double null talismans. Couriers are working overtime to bring out Mangoes as well as Clarity's while up on top lane. Coocoo being initiated on. Old Chicken's having his damage stolen, but Coocoo, I don't think is ever going to get a chance to use it into the trees. One more attack will do it, and they'll find it in from Dark.
Yeah, well played. Just simple, right? I mean, Tims is there, but what's he supposed to offer post Fisher? I don't even think it would have saved him there. He had a Mango available, but it's 2 supports running at your Razor. If they maintain lane control now, I'm not sure Coocoo could even come back into this lane. Mid lane, Arcane Rune and ult possibly able to be skilled by Yi. He's saving that point for Blink just in case, but otherwise, all in on the DPS.
Now, 11's actually going to get both the runes. Yeah, Armel in a little bit of trouble. No Blink dagger to move around, but that's why you got the slow coming in from the Shadow Strike, looking for DK in the trees. The Scream will hit. Sonic Wave is leveled up.
Yep.
Executing the Dragon Knight.
Dude, what a player Yi is. Holy crap. It's like twice now.
It's the Umbrella Aggression while up on top. Same thing. Tims copped a lot of damage, however, from the Maledicte. He's going to be careful to run forward, but he wants to hit the double fissure. Able to do so into Kaka as well as Old Chicken. Kaka is low, but not low enough as Tims continues to tick. Will it be enough for the Spectral Dagger? It will not be. Nyx Assassin was at least claimed by TNC, so this movement of Chikiro pays off in some way.
I don't want to call it too soon, Toby, but Keen's in a position where they could look to run away with this one. The TNC lineup is predicated on being ahead and being able to press down towers before the Keen lineup comes online. But like, this is the second time in, today, right, where Keen's mid player, Yi, has actually 2-0'd his opposing matchup.
Hey, when Keen's ahead, you always feel good, but we've seen them lose it from far up and ahead too. Tims is here to help out Armel, looking to try and lock down the Queen of Pain. Blink was already used. A fissure will not block the path up the hill, however, and Tims missing his combinations. Kind of feel a little bit weird about actually highlighting him when that kind of stuff happens. Needed to block the path up of the Queen of Pain.
It wouldn't have been a kill anyway. It's all right to miss one here or there.
We'll get it out of the way now.
Yeah, I like what Old 11's been doing, by the way, and this is what you do. You're in a one-on-one scenario against the Lifestealer. You don't want to let him trade hits with you now that he's got so many points in Feast and the Phase Boots. You just keep backlaning, you drag the creep wave to neutral camps, and you end up out-farming him by just abusing creep mechanics. And this is something I like to see. It's very simple, and it's a no-risk scenario.
Blink forward. This is Queen of Pain really trying to have a great presence on the map. The TP out, the Sonic Wave will connect. Coocoo, he won't be able to complete the TP. Even if he did, the Maledicte would have killed him.
And that's all because of the Arcane Rune on that first ult cast earlier. So it comes up just before he teleports in, and look mid. You know, this is the key to good teams and nice rotations where you have a Nyx planted there because the Armel DK form is down. So it's just free levels for your Nyx Assassin. It's not much, right? But 6-7 creeps, solo XP, that's a dream.
Anything that gets you closer to level 6 and get the Vendetta up, because then he's a walking ward as the support. And a ward that you're happy to let die every now and then. It's not like the commitment you have as a core.
And look at the Yi, man. Drums Quap looks to be the build. And I honestly find no fault with it because we talked about what TNC is looking to do. The cheap items, accelerate, get ahead. If Keen can match that tempo and then just sort of sit they've got the Spectre, they've got the Underlord. They're always going to be able to move around the map more efficiently. TNC have effectively like 3-2 positions. They have no real natural playmaker until Tims has the Blink Dagger. So all you need to do is allow the game to stagnate, especially if you already have a bit of a lead.
And this Blink is definitely taking some time. Tims, like, he's had to walk away from the top lane multiple times and with no kills to their names. Like, yeah, there's 1 assist. Taka, like, it's an armor bug. Like, it takes a lot to bring him down, and he's looking to even steal the creeps if he possibly can. And as well, Maledicte on Jakiro. Spectral Dagger. Jakiro will tick out from the Maledicte. They know it. They're walking away because real men don't look at their own kills.
That's well played. It's just simple Dota. Top lane, you don't really mind Spectre not free farming just because your Quap is having such a nice time along with your Underlord. Those are the heroes that slow the pace of the TNC draft. Spectre is just there to collect free kills and, you know,
oh, look at him moving towards mid. Right now, Armel thinks he's king of the world, but it won't happen. It's a double root when the pit comes down. DK getting stunned up once again, held in position. It's a perfect chain stun. Armel gets a stun, trying to TP himself away from this. A Fissure will buy the space! Just there in time, Tims. He couldn't find that Fissure to save up on the top lane, but in the mid it comes at just the right time.
Yep, it just, you can see though, the Firestorm damage on a Dragon Knight. It's one of the hard counters. It does so much damage, and an argument I used to make actually when I was still playing, never was believed, but Underlord actually matches up very well against Razor in the sense that he's a hero that's going to build himself to be naturally tanky. He'd prefer not to rush BKB, and even if he links you, if you just stand in pit and Firestorm, you're going to be doing like 40% of Razor's max health in magic damage. Like, that's insane. You add on just a little bit, actually a lot more than that. It's 6 times 4%. Yeah, whatever.
This is why you weren't believed. You need the hard number facts. But don't worry, we have Purge here. He can break it down a little bit later on if we need to put numbers on a screen. Well, Tim's in a little bit of trouble. Maledicte, Queen of Pain can just blink in. Even if she just wants a Sonic Wave, she'll find the kill. Waiting for the blink to scream. Stuns are out from Jakiro as well as the Dragon Knight. Waiting for it. Actually, Jakiro doesn't have his leveled up just yet. Just shy of level 4. But it's all for the battle for the 5-minute runes.
That's really nice for TNC.
They got 3 out of the 4.
It's curious to me. It looks like, yeah, there's a Midas recipe heading down bottom to Gabby's Lifestealer. So he'll be accelerating. And it looks like Armel is also going for a Midas. So TNC perhaps recognizing that, you know, we aren't going to be able to dominate this game like we were in our previous series. We got to try and invest in our late game because it's certainly going to be going there, especially at this rate when you consider the Spectre, the Underlord. It's just so many methods of stalling the game for Keen.
Kind of also feels too like TNC's like late game fight could be very explosive. Having an ES in your team is always fantastic, but combining with that Lifestealer, getting those initial pickoffs that you require. Is there a stun on bottom lane? Anyone? Ice Path does not reach in time.
Huh, it's a curious play. He actually, Old 11 TP's back to base, just, I suppose, feeling it out. He's got a Buckler finished. I imagine that'll become a Crimson Guard since he hasn't finished the mech, though he does have Arcanes.
Top lane, Tims is in trouble once again. Paralyzing Cask, actually now only doing that as they come underneath the tower, but it won't matter when Queen of Pain arrives. That's a level 4 Scream.
Dude, the item build that Yi has queued up right now is wild. It's going to be drums into treads, Force Staff, which I don't mind. When you consider you're playing against Shaker, Razor, Lifestealer, right? You can kite these heroes quite effectively, and no one else in your lineup really wants to buy this Force. It, you know, not to get ahead of myself here, but it reminds me of like the way Wings used to play. They always did something that felt weird, but looked right once you thought about it.
Is Old 11 going to go for the pit? He is not. Easy walk out. Yeah, I'm happy for different item builds to be proved right, but of course that's the thing. Like so far, the Orchid builds of the Queen of Pain in this tournament have not worked out. Maybe this time around they can, as Queen of Pain looks towards the Razor. You know, she's got a lot of damage. Sonic Wave as well as Scream. That is a heavy hitter. 690 damage total magical if you can pop it out.
Yep, and Kaka down bottom has finished level 6. He's just been soaking up experience whenever this Quap looks to rotate, and it's just, you know, how many times have we said this over the course of this tournament? You need this core that's willing to move lanes to buy space for your supports. Yeah. You look at the TNC lineup right now, Jakiro only level 4 in comparison.
Lifestealer looking for some fun against the Witch Doctor, and he's got it. Gabby will end that killing spree. Surprisingly, a 3 killing spree over on Dark. Do you also like this build coming in from the next Assassin with no points up in mana burn? especially as like DK is going nowhere near a Soul Ring?
Yeah, mana burn's more about the cooldown reduction than anything else. And unless you're looking to max it earlier before stun, I think it's just skippable. You go 4-0-4. Oh, wow.
Well, that's execution.
Yeah, I think Gabby's making the right decision. He's going for Armlet after Midas. You can't just rush a Radiance here because you'll end up just letting the game sit for too long. And at some point, I just think you fall off hard.
So they have to push up faster then. So what's the item to do it? Like, we're going to get our basics with the Armlet, the Atos's. Where do you see Armel going in this? Like, do you need the immunity so he can be the front liner? Do you need that BKB? Or is there a different approach? That's if he gets to... oh, he'll TP out. He'll be fine.
I'll touch on that in a second, because I think this smoke is going to connect all the way to mid lane. I'd expect...
I would love to say that's right, but I'm also seeing a 3-man smoke heading north, and Gabby's going to join them, so...
Yeah, Old Chicken's on wise, though. He's just TPing bottom. I like this move. He feels the pressure coming. He's going to hold on to his haunt and just go farm the area that's now been secured by his teammates. They've got wards in the enemy jungle, and he recognizes that as most games of Dota go, Radiant smokes to enemy jungle as Dire smokes to enemy jungle, and they just sort of have this cat and mouse game where nobody actually dies.
Yeah. Just the full mirror effect. There's been so much dewarding as well in this game. It's difficult to keep observer wards up and running. King Gaming, with this smoke maneuver, it wasn't just looking for the kill. They put 2 nice aggressive wards in between the mid towers and watching the farming areas in the jungle. But they're not done yet. They'll look towards the top lane to potentially get the defense off. Fortification's going to buy them the time. And a perfect double pit line up for Kaka to get the double stun. Everything comes in doubles until Tim gets 1 stun. Over on the Nyx Assassin, they all start to leech the damage out of 11. But with the arrival of the Queen of Pain, she actually doesn't have Sonic Wave. They don't have that huge amount of damage. The Echo Sam's there from Tim's, but look at King Gaming. They just Delta split, keeping away from him, not letting him get that big hit up. And Tim's just in the middle of 4 heroes. They're basically making a box and putting him inside of it. Gabby needs to come and help out. Who's he going? It's into old 11. Begins to TP out. Gabby, does he have the damage to cancel the TP? Yes, he does. He gets through him, but then again, he doesn't have the rest of the team. Ice Path with the Dawn Breath. Gabby gets a little bit of extra space, but the damage is way too much. Dark's at the back, letting it go. And a triple kill in for the Queen of Pain. They can take this fight without a Sonic Wave and even get a fresh bottle charge up if they want to battle against Tim's.
Imagine if they had it as well, Toby. That would have been an insane fight. And you can see the strength of Underlord. Yeah, sure, old 11 dies, but his damage output in that fight was still like 2nd place on his team. He did just 600 less than the Quap, and
he's got a defensive item.
Much. Yeah, you have a Crimson Guard for your whole squad. Do you know how much damage you have to invest to actually kill an Underlord through the Crimson? Like, he even tanked the Link for his Spectre.
He'll need a lot more. Kaka walking into the middle of the macro pyre. That's that guaranteed stun of the Nyx Assassin. And Queen of Pain quickly mops up the rest. Kaka just feeling the opportunity and continuously creating more and more space for this 9-0-1 Queen of Pain. We always talk about the importance of a snowballing Queen of Pain. This is exactly it. Kaka, however, has he got life for this with the stick? It's actually, yeah. Pops the magic wand charges, and it's just enough to survive the life stealer.
Yep, this is a near flawless game played so far by King. They set a record earlier, and the most lopsided victory, I think, in Dota history was 53-6. I don't think they'll match it quite with that sort of record, but so far, very well played. And I don't think Yi is in the top 5 votes for MVP right now, but in the event Key managed to make finals or win this tournament, I think he should certainly be considered. Dude has made heroes that no one else is picking just look absolutely fantastic.
I was actually looking at the top 5 list of that, and Eternal Envy was in it. So yeah, let's put Yi in there instead.
Works for me. And it's super easy to rotate now down bottom. Gabby is closing in on the Deso. I think this is the proper build, like the old school Matumpa Man, but with a Midas thrown in. And this allows you to eat through the squishy heroes of Keen, notably all the melees, right? And specifically Underlord Spectre. You're the hero that's going to have to eat these heroes, and it just won't work with the Radiance.
Gabby's still continuously pressuring in that top. Radiance scanning, so Gabby's feeling like at some point that someone should be threatening him, but Rage TP out. The threat was coming in. Kaka was on his way, but it's all a little too late. And then Gabby just moves to bottom lane to finish up the farm. Can they slip into Roshan once he has the Desolator? Can you actually take that kind of positional fight against King Gaming if you're TNC?
I want to say yes, Toby, but I look at Tim's items, and I see that he's 2,000 gold away from Blink, and I question whether that's wise. It's possible, but you'd have to beat Keen in a team fight, and you can see how they're playing. Consistently, Spectre and Underlord are playing opposite sides of the map, as Nyx and Quap, along with the Witch Doctor, just sort of sweep from side to side, as we witness right here. It makes it very easy for them to pincer, and the moment that Haunt is up, they can look to just collapse and find kills, and TNC just aren't ready to take those fights yet.
What is that from Keen? They pinged out, the Observer Ward was already there, and then they smoked underneath it? Oh, this may still work. Jakira was walking into the middle of the Queen of Pain with a double damage, jump forward, looking to get the pick up into the tree line, try and protect, but the drum charge is up. DK, what do you want to do? You want to stun yourself on the back of the Spike Carapace and inside the macro by Queen of Pain. That Sonic, it hits so hard into the DK with the Maledicte. They're just popping through him, and Odd 11 brings him the extra damage and the sustain. But Gabby, you know he's got more with the Echo Slam of ES. They're trying to rip through Odd 11, the TP out. Is everyone back on the Uber? Yes, we are chain booking home.
Really well played by Old 11 there. Perfect recognition of the engagement, and he even takes them to the shrine. Inexperienced Underlords almost always panic, double click all the way back to base, but this guy, he keeps his team as efficient as possible, and it turns out for just a 1-for-1, and they were the ones that actually got the kill on the core. Gabby, however, is becoming a problem. You can even see in that fight. That was pre-Deso, which is now on the courier flying out. He is doing heavy damage. You've got to avoid him at all costs. Perhaps bait the rage, then look to turn around.
Yeah, he didn't even have a small part of the Desolator. It wasn't. Oh, that's now. We're also seeing the reason too why they smoked underneath the Observer Ward. They thought it was further to the left.
Yep.
That's why they sentryed just a little bit too far to the side and missed the Observer.
Yeah. And the one thing about this Quap build, though, keep in mind, with the brown boots, with the drums, the force, he's not going to be scaling quite as hard as you would think. I mean, 9-0, but 2,000 net worth behind Lifestealer. It doesn't feel right, but this is the new Dota. There's far less priority on kills.
Do you still like him going back into the Orchid after the drums and the force stuff? It feels like he's moving a different line now. Because the Orchid's meant to be that early kind of item. Spectre, you are very, very tanky. Oh, they're stunned! It actually connects onto Witch Doctor. He completed the TP. I wasn't looking to get hyped at that point because I'm like, you know he's going to cancel that. It's just like, accept the fact that he's dead. But
2 hits, though. 2 hits, and Lifestealer eats him for breakfast.
Well, they're looking for more up on top, going after the Underlord. They are looking to make those odds a little bit better as Underlord up into the tree lines. Fishy to block him in. He's locked in with Coocoo. That's why they start up the static link. Old 11's got a hard time to run away. He cannot outrun a Razor. He knows it. The TP scroll's available, but with Gabby moving up too, it's like, hey, Gabby wants to kill him. Now he's used the mech. Damn, they really take so much time to kill him off. And you know he's got no damage back, but Gabby, okay, Rage is up, and he will find the kill. Finally. Maybe, yeah, rebuttal. Kaka needs some extra help. Queen of Pain with a haste rune. She comes quick, she comes fast. And Jakiro is gone.
Yeah, the thing is, if you look at the itemization from TNC, they're aware of this. And they have double Midas in comparison to 0 on Keen. And I'm not certain I like Old Chicken's decision here. He went Phase, Soul Ring, Yasha. Now going back for the Radiance. The way the team had been playing this far, I feel like the Mantid Diffusal was more in line with what his team was thinking. As by the time you have Radiance up, sure you'll cancel the Shaker Blink, but Razor and DK will have BKBs and or just tank through it.
Maybe
Lifestealer has Rage.
Maybe they're still feeling like they need to have that late game option, and right now with the Queen of Pain itemizing so early, you have to go all in for the later game spec with the Radiance build up.
We shall see.
Yeah,
it's a bit strange. Kaka's huge, however. He's got a 4-staff as well, and the TNC supports are going to need to be the targets, I feel, for Keen if they're going to win engagements. Because you got to kite the cores, but the supports are just so far behind in comparison to what Keen's got that you can perhaps abuse that disparity.
Yeah, Jakiro is 055 and doesn't even have 1,000 net worth to his name, and 3 things in his inventory are consumables.
Yeah, but he does have 4 points in Ice Path, however. So if he stays alive, that's still a 2.5-second stun on a 9-second cooldown.
Yeah,
that's very significant in a 5-on-5 engagement.
There's also that great long line stun. We talked, like, we used to be mentioned, like Ice Path is like ES's Fissure, but just a little bit more effective sometimes.
Most of the time.
It's an ice wall versus a rock wall. Either way, a lot of walls. King Gaming, they're going to look for their own opening. 4-man smoke up. Obviously, you've got Spectral Horn to get him on the front lines. And Radiant already is getting, once again, Gabby. When he's farming that side lane, he's getting right on top of himself to ensure that there isn't a Nyx Assassin there with him. And he'll just totally dodge this movement of King Gaming. Another smoke gank goes begging.
And this is because I believe TNC won the flip. They chose Radiant. Keen took first pick. And I know some teams have been prioritizing the pick, but I still find Radiant just so much stronger as this natural movement of these sides lead TNC much closer to the Roche pit. Although Keen, perhaps you have to look to stop smoking into enemy jungle and look to go into that top shrine area of Radiant. That's truly the part of the map that Dire has to control if they want to win games consistently. So it's just difficult, you know, walking up high grounds this stage of the game.
That's a nice sentry ward in mid. Scouted out the movement of Nyx Assassin heading over towards Roshan, so Kaka being watched.
Yeah. Awesome.
And they know it. Like King Gaming don't find a gank on bottom. Where else will they be? They're on the northern side of the map. What's also there is going to be Roshan. They have Desolator, and that's exactly what may happen right now. They are 5-man in. Do they all go inside the pit? Do you keep everything real tight with that Basher? They'll feel the confidence, so the 3 cores will be there. Sentry ward planted so they can see if the Nyx Assassin gets in close. Great established vision already up, but King Gaming, they smell it in the air. Roshan's blood wafts out the pit. And here's your Spectral Dagger to scout. They see it, Roshan gets tagged. They see him very low, 1600 HP, 1200, trying to finish the jump, the fissure, and the ice path. This is that wall of ice and rock. They jump in with a Spectral Horn. Gabby did get the Aegis Immortal, so Spectre, he's in too deep. Even with the Crimson Guard up, they got enough life to survive. They're trying to Uber out once again. Underlord, they can't attack into him. They know he's too tanky, but he will only take himself. Dragon Knight, he's so close to Nyx Assassin underneath the Observer and Sentry. They saw him. The only casualty, however, for Keen is there.
Dude, but Gabby is about to be level 20. Their Underlord is the only hero above 15, and he just leveled to 16. This is a very scary lifestealer, and utilizing a build I don't think we've really seen so far in this tournament, but
it's, you know, I just love all these builds where it's like full-on aggression, maybe a little less now from the Spectre, but just full-on aggression. Also, to point out, there was a buyback, in from AU on the Jakira, but he arrived in time, like, because that tier 1 tower was still up. He got the ice path out onto the pit and actually enabled them to still claim the Aegis of the Immortal. Like, it's just so fast when Keen don't have their tier 1 tower. TNC do, and they just bring the brought back reinforcement so quickly.
I think that's a very good point, Toby. That mid tower, I mean, OpenAI recognizes it. Pretty much every pro Dota player recognizes it. But if you can take that opponent tier 1, it opens up the map and specifically the pit for you. Huge advantage for TNC in that fight, and they used it. It's still an even game. But I look at the itemization coming out, like, I just don't think the Spectre Radiance is finished, but he still needs that next item, and maybe even the one after that, before he's truly able to contest the TNC lineup.
Yeah, how do you even build this up? Like you want a Vanguard on top of whatever everything else you got. You need some kind of survivability, but that would probably come from Manta.
Yeah, I like the decision from Gabby here. He recognizes the Orchid came out on the Quap, so he's actually going for a Manta, which is a bit unconventional, but you just want to make sure you're not the one that gets initiated on.
It's kind of funny for him to do that too, because like he's got the Basher. He could have gone into Abyssal Blade. He could have looked for the straight lockdown control. But instead, he can just replace out the Aegis the Immortal because he's got more than enough money. That's 3,000 gold over on the Lifestealer. Armel's spent his money, so he's got a BKB and a Blink Dagger. So Dragon Knight becomes your initiator when ES was still struggling to get to the Blink Dagger, but he's also at almost 2,000.
Yep, and now a Pipe on Coocoo. So we talked about Radiance being negated. It actually, you pop Haunt, and if Pipe is used, all of that damage is gone. It's going to be tough for Keen to win fights here unless they're able to fight within a choke point. You need to have a lot of players standing in fire, so they've got to hope nobody on TNC is that adept.
TP, Coocoo actually goes right into the T1 tower, surrounded by so many heroes. He's looking for the denial on the tower, but sent up and back down. Oldlem's already beginning the exit strategy. Have they got the kill? They do on Coocoo, and then everybody leaves. This time they go back to the fountain.
I like that. They were baiting out the Shaker Blink, but it's not picked up yet. However, were Tim's 100 gold wealthier, he certainly is counter-initiating, so I actually don't mind that at all. And that's the sort of hit-and-run style Keen's looking to play, because TNC have recovered those Midases, the time that's expired. They're strong now. You've got to try and delay this game.
I'm loving that mindset, like Keen knowing the exact timing. Hey, ES is missing for a little bit. He's probably got that item. We're already planning ahead.
He was in the right position too, he just did not have that blink completed. Look at the DK hunting bottom. Quap would be in a ton of trouble here.
He's the initiator. He's got Lifestealer inside of him. They'll see Dark. They want that quick initiation out, but the double stun from Kaka will buy space with the 4-stuff. A double 4-stuff. Dark into the trees. Run as fast as you can. He wants to TP out. He's regenerating and now begins that TP. Gabby, he will see him. Oh, one hit. That did so much damage, but it didn't bash.
Unlucky. If it was a Bulldog Bear, I'm sure would have rooted, but unfortunately, not the same
had a
RNG.
25% chance, a 1 in 4 chance to actually cancel that TP and get the kill on a Witch Doctor, but you'll take it.
Actually, technically it'd be higher. Did he bash on an initial hit?
No,
RNG.
he did not.
Huh.
Okay. Not Kaka. I don't know what you're thinking is going to happen here. Gabby is a beast, like an absolute beast. He can look at it.
Yeah, but he's maxing out pretty soon unless he's looking to sell the Midas. I
Look at
love
him
this
go
Infest
again.
play. Yep.
Infest is back off cooldown, jump inside of Mel, try and make the most of the end of the dragon form. But Keen Gaming, I don't know if they felt it in the wind, but they already TP'd off that top lane. They're out.
Yep. Tim's finally does have that blink online. Looking to make some more MVP performance plays. DD bottled on the Queen of Pain. He's got Black King Bar finished in a moment. Underlord still nothing new. Old 11 just running around with that Greaves. Crimson Guard. The one downside of this hero is, of course, if you're not ahead and able to control map, you're just a walking watermelon and you farm and waddle.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need a sentry. They are underneath a Radiant Observer and sentry themselves, and that's why DK is moving over. There's a courier to kill. There's an Underlord which you'll just totally bypass. And now the jump in. They see him. Kaka, the visual holder, maybe not on the right side of the rock wall, but it won't matter. Gabby can still reach over with his talons. And Nyx is down for 40 seconds. This should be the push into that tier 2 tower on bottom lane and the taking of such a thing.
Yeah, and they're so confident right now in TNC, they're actually aggro glyphing as well to keep these creeps alive and try to increase the speed of the push. I don't blame them. They feel indestructible. They've still got the Aegis and the pipe. DK form in a moment. You could potentially look to just go high ground here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. The glyph already used from Keen, that is a mistake for sure.
That's so early on. They can, like, Dragon Form's already back off cooldown. The BKBs are ready to go, but I'm seeing EU. He's TPing up because they're looking for the bounty runes, the 30-minute ones. So they'll still claim 3 of the bounties. Money goes the way of TNC, but they're not forcing high ground. Yep. Not yet.
But I love again, an Infest TP on the Shaker, so Lifestealer preserving his own. There's still no method of canceling a Rage teleport out. So as long as he keeps playing around other players' teleports, not only can he be so aggressive with these Blink Daggers of his team, of his friends, but it doesn't really slow him down so long as he doesn't stay inside of them for too long.
Surprising also, like TNC's moving so well across the map. Yeah, we see a kill here and there, but I'm still looking at the net worth being only 1,000 the difference. A heavy amount of that from TNC is inside the Lifestealer, but the Spec isn't looking that terrible. Queen of Pain is still keeping up with the split pushing, and Underlord, who's just nipping on the heels of the DK, has given them so much sustain already through both Greaves as well as the Crimson Guard, but he's also going to Lotus Orb, so they've got extra layers. Like, this is like triple layer protection from Keen. And
I feel like I was just a moment ago, I'm like, oh, the Radiance is nice, but it's not going to help them now. He needs that next item and maybe another, and he's got a Manta in that time.
How many times?
A third of the way to Butterfly. Like, maybe TNC got to step on the gas just a little bit because...
They're looking too. Every time they're looking for the Nyx Assassin underneath Sentry Wards, here's this fresh one planted down. Queen of Pain, she's jumping in, looking for the kill onto the Earthshaker. Lets the Sonic Wave out while the Sun's onto the Takiro. Now Gabby will pop out, but Tims is already dead. Queen of Pain, they just do the work. So AU and Tims are already down. Gabby, Manta, able to dodge the Shadow Strike. So he's still got his movement speed, jumps inside of Coocoo. But Coocoo, he just used the Plasma Field, so Kaka, the easiest stun of his life. They'll turn around to kill up the Razor as the BKBs protecting Armel. They want to get out of here, and they're able to do so. Kaka, sorry, man. You did your job. You got the advantage. Infakeen, even a buyback out from the ES.
That was so well played. And you could see, as soon as that buyback came out, the Underlord ult was about to be channeled. And we've seen Chinese teams abuse this mechanic time and time again. Notably Newbie, who used Underlord to win their very first LAN of that season. They finished second at TI, ESL Genting, and it's so strong. You can theoretically play a very low-risk game. You find these kills, you use all of your spells, the Haunt, the Quap Ult, the BKBs. You invest everything, and then immediately right when TNC looks like maybe they could turn this around, re-engage, you're already out of dodge.
Yeah.
You lose Nyx, but who cares? As you said, you got what you came for.
Yeah, we said this at the very start of the game. It's like, hey, get level 6. Like, even if you're a reward and you give us information, this is enough. And that was something that Keen Gaming has been missing over the last 10 to 15 minutes, actually having that information for what's going to be a good fight. They were always under a sentry ward or an observer ward. And TNC, they're moving onto the dire side of the map, but they're blind. So they come under the cover of this smoke, they put down their own sentry walls, they jump in, but again, Nyx, a perfect double stun, and hitting the Maledicte. Goodbye, both. Oh, okay, well, Kaka is the other way around because Gabby was waiting inside.
Yeah, there was no way you could turn that around just yet on Keen, but imagine if they had all their spells ready. That was a 3-man Maledicte.
Yep.
You want to talk about damage over time, like Witch Doctor specifically, it's one of the heroes you used to see countering Razor. DK as well, even works pretty well against Lifestealer. These are all super high HP heroes, and when you combine Maledicte with max HP percent-based damage like Underlord, you can theoretically just crush a fight through your magic damage, let alone the physical DPS that Spectre and Quap will soon be outputting. Still no treads finished on the Yi Quap though. I'd really like to see him complete those. I have a pet peeve when people don't finish their boots.
He's got it in the buy, but maybe he'll save for BTs instead, and that's the decision he's popping around his head. And Shivas is definitely next on the buy list. Keep your eyes because it's Mjolnir coming in for the DK. And Assault Cuirass is also the build order here from Gabby, and he'll have to drop something for that.
Would probably be the Midas, and the only item that seems a bit out of place might be the Basher. I know you want the Abyssal, but I fear that his damage output could suffer. They're not going to have disable problems. They have so many stuns. It's more about raw damage output to take down these huge cores.
Tim's has problems.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them. Can't even get the sun off. Blink into the Orchid, hits the right timing.
And a very quiet Quap performance, it feels, in theory, but he's 14-0-4. He's been present for 18 out of these 21 Keen kills. You really can't ask for more, but it also kind of serves notice on just what this hero needs to do, right? Because he's played flawlessly, yet look at the map movement everywhere, but yet it's still not a GG for his team, right? Even with the Spectre in the late game, just because of how ahead this hero needs to be to stay effective.
This just looks like one of those pulls like, you know what, I've got mid, I'm a fantastic player, I can carry you all, I'm 14-0-4. Why haven't we won the game yet? Spike Carapace, he just slides in Nyx Assassin against the Razor, using the Death Ward and the Maledicte on him. This Razor, he doesn't survive. Even with the pipe protection, he pops underneath the tier 2 tower.
Yep, mid tower already exposed. All the lanes actually doing quite well for Keen Gaming. Butterfly about to be finished on Old Chicken as well. If they can get him that item, he needs to 100 more gold and then he's there. So this tower should clean it up. Then he'll have Haunt, Radiance, Manta, Butterfly. That's the timing you were looking for on your Spectre, and that's the concern with this Basher on the Lifestealer. He will not have MKB for quite some time.
It's that point where, like, now you've got your AC. He's actually lined up the Abyssal Blade in his quick buy, so he is following through with this. Deny the mid tower. Do not give that extra money to Keen. Every dollar counts, and so does Roshan. He is now respawned, and the cheese is available this time around. And
you've got Lotus Orb now on the Underlord. It just feels like TNC is going to get kited.
Well, they're scanning Roshan. They're thinking Keen Gaming went directly in, and Lifestealer, he started making a beeline for him, but once they see the Underlord in mid, they're thinking about moving forward, but difficult to do. Witch Doctor with the Paralyzing Cast can be problematic, but it's also the Glimmer Cape. Whoever you go on, well, it's Nyx Assassin going on Shakira with the Sonic Wave, pushing back the DK in his Dragon Form. The BKB will protect him. The pit is down. They've already got the kill on the Nyx Assassin. Queen of Pain just fighting the backlines, keeping Tims out of this. In fact, Tim just begins to TP out. He'll cancel out, thinking maybe I should be helping out. I have a team here who's still taking a fight. Up in the mid lane, you've got Witch Doctor also being hunted down by the DK. He's got friends to help him too, but we just split in 2 different engagements. So maybe Gabby and Coocoo could find something, but no Queen of Pain. Just repositions once again. Now DK forced away from that Death Ward of the Witch Doctor. He's low on life, but doesn't have a Maledicte on him, so he's going to be okay. Queen of Pain barely surviving. 141 HP. Gets the blink away. That little bit of extra damage, they didn't have it, but I'll see if they can get it into the Spectre. Battling underneath the Radiance. Underlord wants to help out, letting the fire go, and also ready just to deliver everybody back home safely. Able to do so. And the Infest pop comes too late, and it still probably would not have been enough.
How frustrating this has got to be to play against him. There's really no counter. There's nothing they have to deal with the Underlord teleport out at the moment other than trying to isolate him from his squad. Quap barely living, and honestly, Armel got lucky there. The Dark Maledicte missed by a hair, otherwise he was certainly going to tick out.
Talk quick, Kyle. We're back into a fight in just a second. Lifestealer moves forward, the Blink Stun onto the Underlord. They push him around. Have they got the damage this time around? Sentry Wars Dust, that'll do the job. Underlord having all that damage stolen. They have enough to get through the thick butt of him. Now Queen of Pain on the run out too. BKB blinks away from the fight, exposing the Nyx Assassin in front of the pit. That entire battle underneath Jakiro's macro pyre. And once again, Tim's, there's always one core hunting him, not letting him have his way. But with all these big abilities down, TNC have cores. They're going in for Roshan.
And I don't know if you're going to be able to contest on the side of Keen. A slight miscue there from Old 11. He didn't get his Greaves or his Crimson off. He tried to reposition to get the Force up to the high ground. Instead, he goes down, although there were a few bashes. So I criticized the item, and it won't help him kill the Spectre, but it still helps him shred that Underlord as we just witnessed.
Here's the dagger. Roshan's real low. Gabby's already got the Aegis, the Immortal. The cheese is in the hand of the DK with a Ro2a toss. Dodged quite easily by Old Chicken's Manta. And everyone will back up just to think about what's next.
Yeah, Armel going for the MKB. He'll be level 25 soon. He went for the 180 GPM talent in addition to the Midas. I'm not sure whether he'll go for the double Dragon Blood talent. It's a bit, not rough, but you can always have that punctured by the Nyx Assassin break on his ultimate. So perhaps he'd want just the extra stun duration.
Is he really feeling that far behind in items that you need the gold talent, or is it just so good anyway?
I think the game goes long enough where it pays for itself. 25 strength is worth a Reaver, so in theory, if the game goes on for 15 minutes,
you just buy a Satanic.
It pays for itself. So, or rather, you could pay for that strength you miss out on.
Well, they're still looking to fight. Well, you got that extra detection. Nyx Assassin's looking for the opportunity. Okay, Lifesteal, sick of this, pops out. Puts his AC and Desolator to work, and that tower looks more like hot butter. He just cuts it.
The one thing that I believe both teams are missing right now is the Vlads. That is 4 armor, lifesteal, and 15% damage to both squads. I think you gotta look for someone to pick that up. I know I stress this a lot, but that item is just so good. Especially in a game where physical damage is like, that's it. That's
well, I would say Jakiro could buy it, but he has no money. He's literally flat broke. And Earthshaker's looking for another way to get away from the bloody fights. He's looking for a Shadow Blade, which is a great repositioner to escape this Queen of Pain and Spectre harassment on him.
Yeah, I like the decision as well. He's been very smart with his item choices. He was going Shivas, but swapping it now for the AC so that his Underlord is free to buy the Shivas. And it's just one of those examples where when a team needs a lot of items, it's important that you don't mess with your ally's ability to itemize for his own hero properly. And this is just the proper way to split up those choices. Scotty soon to be complete on Old Chicken. That's a big power spike for Keen. He has level 25 as well, so that 6% dispersion talent comes in. He'll be taking 28% of the damage he receives and distributing it amongst those TNC heroes equally. Very deceptively tanky, especially with the butterfly.
I'm loving the math on the Dire Towers when TNC attacks. That tier 2 tower had 3 armor. That's all it had. You push up higher, it's like, well, welcome to 4 armor on your defense. That's why they can like break through these buildings so quickly, and makes me a little bit scared for King Gaming. One fight goes badly, if enough of these auras survive, mainly Lifestealer, you're going to just beat through these buildings. Yeah, I want to just cover the talents real quick because we have a couple 25s finished. The DK did go for the stun duration. That's now more than a 5-second stun. Very important if they're going to try and take out Underlord before he's able to get the ultimate off. Quaps is huge too, because if you can get that Scream of Pain 1.5-second fear, that is unbelievable. Yeah, to play with. And you see her itemizing to cancel it off next time. And I think we may be looking at a no boots Quap. She's got Lincoln Sphere after finishing up the Assault Cuirass. At least that's what she's working towards. She won't have it for this fight. It's a 4-man smoke up and Lifestealer. You can clean up the wave and then just infest into whoever he wants to. Or you can just start sieging the buildings with Rage. Now lasts 8 seconds, of course. It's another one that's big. Well, you can try. 50% uptime almost. Nyx will try and make life a little bit harder. He's got the Aghanim Scepter completed. It's already sitting. This is StarCraft 2 Lurker style. Yeah. Game has certainly slowed down a bit, but still just that 1K lead. I don't think we've been more than 3,000 ahead in either direction thus far. It's been pretty close. Like, if you bring the graph up, you can see it swings a lot, but it's a very small swing.
Yep. And I
we just zoomed in.
Blitz was talking about it in the pregame where he felt like both teams playing the same style. One would be better and 2-0, but thus far, I think the odds at the start of the game were dead even, and so far, both teams feel this way. I think they're making good decisions. You know, neither squad really making any crazy plays, just focusing on limiting mistakes, which is, I'd argue, the proper way to play, especially in the game win of a series like this.
So yeah, when elimination's on the line, it may have been a long day. For Keen, it definitely has been. And they still need to keep the pressure up. You can't play defensive all the time, or else we're just sitting here farming until the end of our days. And that's why DK is up on this top lane. They move their vision advantage, or at least try and get that vision advantage up on the northern side for both sides.
They are losing their Aegis in just a moment, though. So it's strange that they look to push now. But the MKB is up on the Dragon Knight.
10 seconds. Watch that timer. Lifestealer, he can just switch the armlet in once the Aegis is gone.
Radiance bottom tower.
But there's no way they can kill him before that pops. So goodbye Aegis, armlet in. And they keep the pressure on.
He'll sell that for his own MKB.
They're actually losing out in the push. This is the advantage of a Spectre, right? Like, she's just sitting on bottom lane, pressuring the tier 2 tower, not even with herself, it's with the Manta illusions, and she knows she can get in the middle of the fight thanks to the Spectral Horn.
Well, she did get an illusion rune, which did help that out considerably. One of the best runes to pick up on a Spectre. I would expect him to just buy out the Scotty as well, and I think that's what he's about to do.
Is he? Okay, he'll expend the 1 charges.
Okay, all right. He's going to save buyback, but spend a little gold. I'll accept it. However, I think that if TNC had looked to take a fight there before Spectre got his next item, they would have won it decisively. It's just so difficult, as you said. Nyx with the Ags, Underlord, Witch Doctor Maledicte. Just trying to siege feels nigh impossible. Yeah.
And I'm just loving how Keen's like full itemization. Like, I'm talking like how much armor the towers are losing. Like, having the AC up, like Underlord is going to be an absolute beast, especially with his aura. And then Spec, you've got 31 armor anyway. As a base, this is without having all of the without having the Scotty inside, but the life will be really good for him. It's like Keen Gaming know what they need to itemize against. They're going to smoke up. The Sentry Wall was planted down to ensure that this smoke was not underneath a TNC obs.
Yeah, they're trying to get in position. Bounty rune spawning in 30 seconds.
Oh, Tim's, he's so close.
They got a Sentry.
Smoke doesn't break. He's already triggering up the Spine Carapace, looking for Jakiro. Glimmer came there for protection, but the Sentry Wall came down very quickly. Dragon Knight with the BKB, with the Sonic Wave, pushing them all back. And Jakiro getting hit in the head with a coconut. DK as well as Razor. They're at least protected by BKBs as Gabby. He looks to get in on this fight, but Queen of Pain blinks into the back lines. She's losing a lot of damage. The Fissure stunning up the Spectre, so he cannot keep the chase going either. They look for an extra target. There it is. The Abyssal Blade hit over on the next assassin, but he's still up and running again. The BKBs are faded for TNC, and it's just up to Queen of Pain to get that damage in. But Tim's, finally, he has been so patient, waits for that opportunity, but he still needs more. Is there another Fissure to split him up? The Manta dodge! Oh, Chicken, he can just keep fighting into Coocoo. The bash is out for himself as well, and they're going in deep underneath the towers. Gabby, easy fancy footwork, dodges out Kaka, but Tim's, he can't keep this run going. The Sentry Wall comes down. They see the Earthshaker, maybe he can. Back underneath the tier 4 towers. They all want to leave, and they're able to do so. Again, the fair is shared by Keen all the way back to Fountain. Heavy buyback expend.
And just beautiful, really. I have not seen an Underlord draft executed this well since Newbie was informed. They're just perfect. You notice that the Spectre seemed very strong in that fight, especially against the TNC cores. He did finish the Scotty before porting in. He needed to do that because it's just that anti-BKB mechanic. Who cares if the Lifestealer's raged, if the other 2 cores pop those BKBs? They're still so slow that it buys space for your Nyx, for your Quap to just kite, survive for as long as they can. And in the event you were actually going to lose the fight, Underlord takes you out, and everyone gets home scot-free.
Yep, because again, you can't kill the Underlord. DK is going defensive items after the MKB finished up an entire heart, but what do you sell next in order to get you that damage? Trouble in mid, Razor trying to get himself away. Armel just jumps straight into the back lines, wants the Witch Doctor down, able to do so. The Fissure's done over onto Old Chicken, and Tim's keeping that chain stun going. A 4-star push up from Kaka, trying to give Old Chicken that escape path. Kaka goes underneath the ground. Can he actually help him out? No, he cannot. The Spectre is down. Buyback is available. Does he want to use it? No, he doesn't. There is just too much movement forward from TNC. With the reveal, he couldn't even hide underneath the ground. And TNC turned into the aggressors.
MKB coming out on the Lifestealer as well. He'll finally be able to go man-to-man with that Spectre. You can see the strength of the draft with Haunt down. TNC recognized they've got to make a move, and King gets caught napping.
Oh, there's your buyback in from the Nyx Assassin. They need that burrowed Nyx to slow this push down.
Quap's so close to level 25, Toby.
So much damage to that tier 3 tower already. If she hits that 25, maybe everyone gets feared or get the spell block. Nyx Assassin stunned up, pushed in. That force up, he's so exposed. A secondary force up with the Sonic Wave. Everyone gets pushed back, and then you bring in the Spectre right on top. Armel's losing life way too fast. The Ice Pass will create a little bit of space, maybe for Coocoo to TP up, but no! Kaka hits the double stun to give a double kill to Old Chicken, and that is a long time for TNC in the grave. They used buyback on Razor and DK in the last fight. Keen know it, we know it. 2 minutes down.
I think
that could be game.
That could be game, yeah. It's a decision. You get 1 Rax or you press for Throne, but you have over 100 seconds of a 3-on-5. Sure, you don't have Haunt, but man, that was so strange. Like TNC, they just get, what was that, like a 5-man Quap ult? Like the Nyx just stunned everybody. And
Lifesteal's looking for a fight. Queen of Pain bought BT so she can join this fight pretty quickly. Nyx Assassin, there's your Abyssal Blade. They just want Kaka down, able to claim it. Gabby, this damage is ridiculous. The rest of Keen wasn't there. Now Nyx is down for 102 seconds without buyback, and the Ice Path connects over an Old Chicken. Maybe with the paralyzing cast, but no. Echo Slam, they want the extra stuns. Force up out, hold 11. Let's go home. We had our fun. He actually cancels it, and now there's 3 down. The Ice Path again creates space, but Lifesteal's got so much work to do, but he can't do jack. He'll go down. The buyback is available. The tier 3 tower is being beaten. They need the creep wave. It's on the way. Actually, no, they don't. Their damage is more than enough. They'll take the tier 3. They'll take the melee racks, but how much more can they take?
A lot. Hunterlord's got plus 250 damage from his passive right now, Toby. They're only going to get the 1 Rax because Roche is up. This is the right decision. It's spawning in 15 seconds. Man, Keen, their timings and the way they're playing as a squad is on point. Easily the most disciplined team we've seen perform at this tournament. Like, this is them on form, and it's going to spawn if they just wait a couple moments. 2, 1. They have it down. Look at that. Look at that.
This is a well-greased up engine. It is smooth as silk. Keen Gaming. They will take Roshan. They will get the refresher shards up and available. We'll see who gets what.
Of course, it's the Spectre. Come on,
it's the Spectre who gets the Aegis, refresher shard as well, and the cheese. Just give everything to Old Chicken. Oh wait, no, he wanted to give the cheese away. He gave it to the. Actually, no. Refresher shards on the Quap.
I don't know if...
You want double Sonic Wave? It comes with the 1.5 second fear now.
That is true.
So 3 seconds of fear, insane amounts of damage. The only issue may be mana pool.
That's a good point. So he's going to be going for the Aether Lens too. Just trying to ensure that he doesn't get blown up, because that's really the only target that you can go for if you're TNC. Spectre Underlord are just absolute units at the moment.
That Aeon Disc really does help protect you.
They're just going to walk down bottom lane. They're going to collect 2 bounties. This is all good. TNC, you're in trouble now. The problem with your draft is that your Lifestealer's maxed out, and the downside of the offlane Razor, when you go this, you know, the utility build, the Solar, the Pipe, the Atos, I'm a huge fan of these items, but once it gets to 50 minutes plus, you look at his net worth, he's dropped off. He's not really an actual threat. He's not getting full links off on Spectre. It's just like he's a non-factor in these engagements.
Do you like Agadim's Underlord?
I don't even remember what that does.
Neither do I. I didn't actually think there was one. I'm looking through his ability. Oh, it's upgraded by Aglet. It's the Atrophy Aura. That's it.
Hang on a moment.
Yeah. Have a bit of a read up on this one before the fight begins. So you've got that in the quick buy available. Also, full Abyssal Blade is now sitting in the backpack of Old Chicken. This is even more lockdown on Lifestealer.
Dude, it gives his allies half the attack damage that he steals with Atrophy at the moment. That's pretty sick. That's actually pretty insane. That's like Svenags. That's crazy.
Oh, look for it. DK may be the recipient as the stuns fly forward. Of course, the Aghanim Scepter is not on him just yet. The Courier is doing a small little quick buy down, but he'll have to expend. He doesn't have enough money to buy it and still have buyback available, and that's more important when you're 51 minutes into a game.
For sure. That's the only real window TNC have in this, and I think Keener making a wise play here. If you check out the buyback status on all these heroes, they're only a couple minutes away from having them up on all, but more importantly, it's Old Chicken. Sure, he's got Aegis, but 330 away.
Yeah.
Your Underlord's got one, but you want to ensure that your supports aren't liable to just be taken out, notably the Nyx. where then TNC would have a potential to say, go force high ground throne engagement with a 3-on-5, 4-on-5 scenario where you know that any hero that dies, you're going down. The big pain of Spectre is on that buyback fight.
So they need to make sure they're in a safe place. As we've said many times, Keen, disciplined. That's what they are and what they need to be in order to breach this high ground. Because keep in mind, they have taken the mid-rack, so there's some momentum there. But when TNC is this farmed up, it doesn't take that much to rip through it. But 1 minute until DK and Razor can buy back. They'll use this time to take the tier 2 tower on top lane. Vegas Immortal is still ticking down on that Spectre, so watch the clock. But here they come. Up the hill. Coocoo sitting at the back. Still 48 seconds as you jump forward. DK able to get the Sun over on the Queen of Pain. Pin and Malice trying to create a little bit more space, trying to bait out some of the BKBs. The Ice Path doesn't actually connect on anybody. It's just the illusions. The Spectral Horns creating absolute chaos. Tims is waiting until he can actually blink forward or get something. A fissure, a stun, anything. The Nyx Assassin's buried down. It's a 3, actually technically 4. Stun and the follow-up Ice Path. The tower's on 4 HP. Gabby will move forward, and Armel, he's in the back lines. He can't attack, however. The Ghost Scepter allowing Wish Doctor to do his thing. Paralyze cast forward, and then just let all the stuns and all the damage from the Death will do its work as a Sonic Wave. Everyone is living in a world of fear, and it's TNC who are in a hell of a lot of trouble. Maybe not when Coocoo can stand his ground, but Armel can't do the same. The Heart doesn't give enough life, and he still doesn't have buyback. 4 seconds until that's back off cooldown. The Ice Path may actually buy him just that time. The top rack is still intact, but without Dragon Form, do you want to buy it back? The answer is definitely going to be yes. The Melee Rex is gone. The Ice Path and Dual Breath over on 2, but they know they want the dieback. But Gabby, he comes forward. Abyssal Blade, there's over on the Wish Doctor. The Ghost Scepter making it impossible to focus on the targets, and it's Queen of Pain mopping up the back lines. Everyone still in fear. Armel needs to get the stun. They need to kill off this Queen of Pain. The Force-Up pushes him down, and then another Force-Up out of the Ice by the triple into the fountain. We are just pushing our way forward. The Queen of Pain buys back, BTs into the lane. It looks fancy, it looks nice, but Keen, they look unstoppable. Kaka sitting in front of him, landing the stuns. He doesn't care if he's visible. He is underneath almost the fountain. The Paralyzing Cast buys the space for King Gaming to play objective-based gaming into the Ancient, which is dropping so fast. The Uber route, that'll be cancelled because the game is done. King Gaming in 54 minutes take it against TNC.
Just a great last fight there, Toby. They identified the Shaker who had no buyback available. Spectre Quap just hunt them through the trees. And the end game, they killed Lifestealer with no buyback. That ends it. You talked about the lurker of the Nyx Assassin. It felt like he was just slowly creeping and crawling closer and closer to that enemy base until eventually he just planted outside of it, between the throne and the fountain. Sick plays from Keen, really. That was one of the best games of Dota I've watched in some time. I loved the draft, and I thought that they, you know, maybe there was a mistake here and there. They let TNC get a bit of an advantage, but like near flawless game, really. Like they identified the win condition.
It was great teamwork. People were in front, people were getting the kills at the same time. I give a half Melk award right now, so it's the Mutt award to Kaka. He went 0-10 in that. Props, cannot wait for game 2.
Thank you very much, gents. Yes, fantastic performance by King Gaming. Just a small misstep here and there from TNC, which kind of from King, which gave TNC a little opportunity. Will, a very small window, admittedly, but there was a window.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the nature of the drafts, like the way that they worked, it was really odd because it felt like Keen didn't quite have enough damage for a really long time to kill any of the 3 cores, and it felt like they were just sort of in this weird stuck transitionary phase. But I mean, eventually they sort of got there.
Yeah.
They just needed quite a while for their Spectre to come online.
Yeah.
They needed a while, and also on his Queen of Pain. He played out of his mind. He was godlike, beyond godlike, pretty damn early into the game. I think it was 15, 20 minutes, and he was just making so much space around the map that meant that TNC couldn't take that aggressive stance. And, you know, that Spectre, eventually, it's going to come online, and it felt like Keen had that win condition, whereas TNC just falling a bit short.
Yeah, old chicken on the Spectre. Shades of the old man himself, really. I mean, he's not the flashiest of players most of the time, but every now and again he'll just have one of those games where you just go, cool, he's pretty good at this, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was one of those games.
Yeah, him as well as 11, you know, just having the coordination throughout the team to be able to say, right, let's get this objective and then take the Uber and get out.
Yeah, quite the Uber Lord was pretty useful in this game. And it did bail him out occasionally, didn't it?
Oh, more than occasionally. I think it was, what, 4 or 5 times that it happened. And just nothing epitomizes Keen more of how disciplined they are than just standing in that Roche pit knowing that it's going to respawn in that next 5 seconds and then just bam, next stage.
Impressed, Will?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was like a really different game than what I expected, especially Keen to play. I felt like Keen is usually a little bit more aggressive than this, but I think they were just like, this looks like a pretty great Spectre game. Eventually he's going to get a Scotty and he can chase down these cores. What I'd really need, though, is I need TNC to stop picking this like Razor offlane stuff. I felt like they needed like one more core who actually did something. Like, he was sort of tanky, but you never really felt his impact in the game. You're never really afraid of this Razor, and I feel like that's consistently been the story for me when TNC loses, is like Coocoo plays these heroes that aren't traditional offlaners. Like when we saw him play the Necro the other day, and he doesn't really get to do anything. I don't really know what the plan is when you go ultra late in this game, because he doesn't really come with the disable, so he has to build his own Atos. Like, it just feels a little bit messy.
And I think, like, we talk about the Razor in the offlane, it can work. Like, we saw KP do it to great success, you know, when he was actually laning against the Doom. You know, it means that you can actually, you know, contest quite easily. He's forced to go into the jungle, and you can contest in that way. But the Spectre, you know, you can still get a few last hits. You can still use the Spectral Dagger. It's not as much of a nuisance, and you know, you're just not quite as active as you should be earlier on into the game. So,
do you agree with Will's point, though, that sometimes TNC do...
Too greedy.
Yeah, too greedy, and also chase the tail a little bit sometimes, and try and get too cute with the draft, and that cost them before in the group stage. They seem to have gone back to type, actually, in the lower bracket from what we saw at WESG, where they're much more powerful, they're running at you, they're really aggressive, they're in your face all the time, which is what we know them to be good at. This didn't seem like that version. I know they wanted to. They always looked like they wanted to in this game, but with what Keen had against them, they were never allowed to do that, were they?
I mean, they need to just simplify it, right?
Yeah.
More stuns. Right. That's a big way to improve it vastly. Like, if you can lock down this Queen of Pain who got away on, you know, 1/8 of her HP several times, it just completely turns it around. You know, a lot more gold being fed towards you from a kill streak. It's a big game changer.
Yep. Gabby on the lifestealer, though, as a standout player on TNC side?
He was basically the only one that could have won them the game at a certain point. You know, he was ahead in the early game, and then later on it just felt like the other 4 were standing around waiting for Gabby to do something.
Yeah. How realistic was that window, Will? Because there was a time when they were slightly ahead, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, they made some pretty cool plays to like get themselves back into this game and get ahead. But Ka pointed it out. It was like, there's only so much you can do. This is a level 25 lifestealer, 6 slotted. He's not getting any stronger. The rest of your team's not really getting any stronger either. So if you're not winning fights by this point, there is sort of a timer in your lineup.
Yeah. And in terms of Keen, they'll be very happy right now backstage. As Will's already pointed out, it was a very different performance from them. We're used to seeing them being the aggressors and the ones that dictate the tempo. They seem quite happy to play it a different way. Will mentioned that he wants to see more from them still, but in a way, they've kind of shown us a different style here, haven't they? Yeah,
they've shown us something a little bit different, something that they can potentially take into these later stages if they make the grand final. You know, it's going to be a longer series. They can potentially throw out these little pocket strats for themselves. And you know, I think they might be playing a bit more for the long game again, using this game one as a bit more of the experimentation, but this time working out for them. Yeah, definitely worked out this time around. Let's check in with Purge now and find out what he's got from game number 1.
I really like Keen's draft. It gave a lot of solutions to what they're up against. The first Razor Earthshaker opening means that Queen of Pain can lane well against Razor and doesn't have to worry about a fissure block. Now, ultimately, what they did later on is they picked the Spectre, and the whole purpose was so that they can go ultra late game while everybody farms, and they can just help ensure that they have one of the better late game carries. And the other cool thing about the Queen of Pain is that she's actually able to pressure the Dragon Knight. Okay, normally Dragon Knight's going to be able to do all right, but he frankly just kind of owned this lane. Dragon Knight got super pressured, he got killed a couple times here in lane, and as a result Queen of Pain gets ahead and can turn that into items. And also rotate to other lanes, teleport in, help reduce pressure on the Spectre, for example, kill the Razor here due to the Arcane Rune that she used earlier when she killed the Dragon Knight. That was really cool. And then what's kind of interesting is the items that she went for, the Force and the Drum. Very weird item build, but what it tells me at least, or at least my guess on it, is that it allows her to be able to save an ally that gets tethered by Razor, and that means that Razor's not really going to be able to do much. Like, for example, here's a Spec getting ganked in the mid lane. At the 20-minute mark, if her teleport was a little bit faster at this moment, force the Spec Spectre away, no chance he dies, and the game can keep going off on a great path. But unfortunately, teleport a little late in this case, but it was a cool strategy to try to provide early game, relieve some early game pressure from the Spec and allow him to go late game.
Fantastic as always. Thank you very much, Purge. His breakdown from game number 1. We'll look forward to a couple more, hopefully, as well. And I say a couple more because whilst we're headed to a break right now, I know everyone here in the Dome is very much looking forward to 3 games in another best of 3 series. And for that to happen, TNC need to step up in game 2 next.
Still up and running again. The BKBs are faded for TNC, and it's just up to Queen of Pain to get that damage in. But Tim's, finally, he has been so paced up. Right on top, Armel's losing life way too fast. The Ice Blast will create a little bit of space, maybe for Coocoo to TP up, but no!